Branding has been around for longer than you think. In fact, it dates back over 10,000 years. That's right, before we even had modern advertising, humans were already using symbols to mark ownership and build trust. But here's something that might surprise you. The first ever brand wasn't Coca-Cola or Apple, it was a farmer's mark on his cattle. These marks weren't just about ownership, they were about quality. And even back then, consumers relied on these symbols to know what they were buying. Fast forward to today, and branding is worth more than $200 billion globally. Companies like Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft are now brands that influence almost every part of our lives. The power of branding has grown so strong that a single logo can be worth billions. But how did we get here? What can we learn from the past 10,000 years of branding that can help businesses today? In the next few minutes, we'll take you through the history of branding, from ancient symbols to the digital revolution. You'll discover how brands evolved and why some succeeded while others faded into history. Stick around, this isn't your typical marketing story. Get ready for a ride through time that will change the way you see branding forever. Chapter 1: Branding before brands. The ancient roots. Branding isn't just a modern phenomenon, it's been around for thousands of years. In ancient Mesopotamia, traders used clay tablets to mark their goods, establishing one of the earliest known forms of branding. This wasn't about logos, but about signaling trust and quality. Fast forward to ancient Egypt, where merchants used hieroglyphs and symbols to signify their goods were authentic. The first logos weren't designed by artists, they were created by necessity to communicate ownership and value. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, where family crests were a sign of power, trust, and legitimacy. People bought from brands they could trust because these symbols showed that the product came from a respected source. These early strategies were all about establishing identity, just like today. The more visible and recognizable the symbol, the more people would return to it. Chapter 2: The power of symbols. From kings to cows, symbols are the foundation of branding, and they've always been a way to distinguish value. A king's crest wasn't just decoration, it signified authority and legitimacy. Similarly, during the agricultural revolution, farmers used branding to mark their cattle. These marks weren't just for ownership, they communicated quality. Buyers knew that cattle with certain brands were healthier and of higher quality. This was the beginning of brand loyalty, long before the term was even coined. According to branding expert Marty Neumeier, a brand is not a logo. A brand is a customer's gut feeling about a product, service, or company. This idea of using a symbol to evoke trust and confidence is still the core of successful branding today. Whether it's a family crest or a cow's mark, branding has always been about forming a connection. Chapter 3: From fire to font. The evolution of communication. As civilizations grew, so did the complexity of their communication. The Romans were the first to use inscriptions on stone, marking public buildings, laws, and important events. This shift to written symbols made branding more accessible and more permanent. The next major leap came with the invention of the printing press in the 15th century. For the first time, people could mass-produce printed material with consistent fonts and designs. This was huge for marketing. Now, companies could produce books, pamphlets, and advertisements that reached a wide audience. The birth of the modern brand identity came with these advancements, as brands began to create recognizability through consistent fonts, designs, and messages. A study by Nielsen found that 59% of consumers prefer to buy new products from brands familiar to them, a statistic that links directly to the power of consistent branding. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming up next. Chapter 4: Industrial Revolution. Mass production meets mass branding. The Industrial Revolution didn't just change manufacturing, it changed how brands communicated with consumers. Before mass production, everything was handmade, and products had individual stories. After the revolution, products were made in factories, and brands had to differentiate themselves. That's when Coca-Cola and Heinz began to use their logos and consistent messaging to stand out. Coca-Cola's logo, designed in 1887, was one of the first to focus on creating a timeless design that would stay in the minds of consumers. Brands like these capitalized on the power of consistency. As factories churned out products, branding became crucial for survival. According to data, brands with strong consistency in their messaging are 20% more likely to succeed. The era marked the beginning of brand marketing strategies we still use today, such as logos, slogans, and jingles. Chapter 5: The Digital Age. Branding at the speed of light. The rise of the internet revolutionized branding, introducing new challenges and opportunities. Brands like Apple and Google became synonymous with innovation and simplicity. Their logos became more than just symbols, they became cultural icons. According to a report by Forbes, Apple's brand value in 2024 was estimated at $420 billion, a staggering number that shows the power of digital-first branding strategies. In the digital age, brands aren't just competing for attention, they're competing for loyalty in a crowded marketplace. Social media, search engines, and influencer marketing all play into how we perceive brands. Personalization became key as companies started tailoring their messages to individual consumers. This shift was predicted by marketing expert Seth Godin, who once said, "People do not buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic." Brands today are all about creating those emotional connections through digital experiences. Don't forget to subscribe for more branding insights and strategies you won't find anywhere else. Chapter 6: Branding's Future. From AI to augmented reality, what's next for branding? The future is already here, and it's digital, immersive, and interactive. Artificial intelligence is helping brands craft personalized experiences for consumers, while augmented reality, AR, is changing how we interact with products. Imagine trying on clothes virtually or seeing how a piece of furniture looks in your living room before buying it. AR allows brands to engage customers in ways we never thought possible. According to Artillery Intelligence, the AR market is expected to reach $198 billion by 2025. With advancements in AI and machine learning, brands will be able to predict consumer behavior and tailor their products in real time. The future of branding will likely be a blend of virtual worlds and real-world experiences, where the lines between the two are blurred. As futurist Alvin Toffler once said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Brands that adapt to new technologies and consumer needs will lead the way. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more exciting branding tips and strategies.